For the op art sphere project, you need a piece of paper, a compass, a pencil, a ruler, and something colorful. You can use whatever colors you would like for this project. You should use something that has a lot of contrast. So if you don't have anything colorful, you could always use your pencil and shade in areas to create contrast between the paper and the shaded areas. If you don't have a compass at home, you can simply use something that is fairly large to trace. I would suggest a bucket or a lid to like a cream cheese container or something of that nature. Begin by creating at least one circle. You may create multiple circles for this assignment. If you have a lid or something at home that you're tracing that is round, go ahead, place it anywhere on your artwork and trace it. Make sure you have the whole circle. With the safety compasses in person, the metal ring is your pivot point. You hold down the translucent white area with your fingers, and you place your pencil in the pencil openings on the orange plastic part. The further away from the pivot point, the larger the circle. Remember, you have to keep the circle on the paper. None of your circles should go off the edge. I'm going to hold down the translucent plastic, place my pencil in 3R, for example, and swing it around. You do have to watch out for your arm. Place the compass off to the side. With your ruler, we're going to use the width of the ruler to help make our grid. I'm going to line the ruler up horizontally, parallel to the bottom edge. Hold the ruler firmly with your hand so it doesn't move around, and draw lines across. Line the ruler up with the line you just drew. Hold the ruler firmly. The catch now is you're not going to draw across the circles. I'm going to draw up to the circle, pick up my pencil, and continue on the other side. Repeat this process until you have horizontal lines all the way up your paper. Your ruler may be a different width than the one I'm using, and that's fine. You'll also notice that this last piece is smaller than a ruler width, and that's okay. We're going to place the ruler perpendicular to those lines, line it up parallel to the short edge of your paper, hold the ruler firmly, and repeat the process going across the paper to create vertical lines. Remember to pick up your pencil before you hit the circle. Looking at our circle, we want to create the illusion that it is bowing out of the two-dimensional artwork towards us. There are some lines that are going to help us achieve that illusion. We're going to put this horizontal line that's going about through the center of our circle in our circle. If you don't have a horizontal line, see if you have a vertical line. I'm going to sketch it fairly lightly. Above the line, I'm going to arc up, and I'm going to freehand it because I'm not making a perfect circular arc. So I'm starting out on my line, drawing a light arc across, keeping it nice and sketchy, and ending on the other end of the line. I'm going to even that out a little bit. It's a little uneven. I'm going to make one more under that arc. And one more over that arc, always starting and stopping on that line. So if you were working vertically, your arcs would be going the other way. The nice thing about op art is that there is no right way up, typically. Okay, that looks pretty even. So now I'm going to repeat the process on the bottom half. So if I have 1, 2, 3, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 on the bottom. So try to keep them even. Kind of eyeball it. Remember, you're keeping your lines nice and light and sketchy until you finalize them. If you're not choosing to outline this with a Sharpie when you're done, or some other material that is black and fairly bold, remember to erase your sketchy marks. Okay, so it's starting to work. You start to have the illusion here. I'm going to clean up some of my lines. So now we're going to repeat the process the other way, but this time I don't have a horizontal line or vertical line that's going right through here. I kind of have a column right in the middle, but that's okay. I'm going to take my ruler, going to line it up with about the center. I'm looking at this distance here. I'm going to lightly draw a vertical line. You might already have a vertical line there that you can use, and that's fine. Make some more adjustments as I'm working. Drawing very lightly so I don't gouge the paper. You know how when you draw something and you erase it and you still have the marks? Sometimes that's from gouging. Okay. So now I'm going to do the process on the right and the left. So I'm going to make 3 arcs. Use my gross motor skills. 1, 2, and 3. I'll bend this down a little bit more. So something that's happening is I'm getting these distortions on the edge where this is a much too large of a space to keep. I'm going to talk about what we do about that in a second. So let's put our lines on the other side. And something you can do is if you struggle with drawing arcs in any particular direction, you could always rotate your paper if you find that it's easier for you to draw arcs pointing to your left rather than your right, or vice versa. Keeping it nice and light and sketchy. Erase my sketchy marks. You gotta be careful I don't erase lines I want to keep. Okay. So now, if I look at these big weird spaces, right, I want to create the illusion that this checkerboard pattern, or this grid so far, it's not a checkerboard yet, is going off into space. So I need a couple more lines. So I need at least one more arc on the left. I'll put this line back that I accidentally erased. And then I'm going to put one more arc on the right. Really going slowly and taking my time. And then I'm going to put an arc above center. And an arc below center. That was not a great arc. Let me try that again. I'm gonna fix it a little bit. Let's go back up. That's much better. Okay. So now those spaces are still a little bit distorted. They're still kind of big, but they're not super distracting, and you can start to see the illusion work. For the sake of visual communication, I'm going to time-lapse tracing all of my pencil lines with a Sharpie, and hopefully that will make enough contrast so you can see the difference between my sketchy lines and my final lines. What you'll probably notice as I'm tracing my pencil lines is that I'm moving the lines just a little bit after looking at them more closely so they look a little bit less awkward. When you can use a ruler to trace your straight lines, make sure you do use a ruler to trace your straight lines. Always erase your pencil marks when you're done outlining so it looks nice and clean and crisp. If you're not choosing to outline with a Sharpie, remember that you do have to clean up your lines some way so it's less sketchy because you don't want the graphite to interfere with the clarity of your illusion. You're going to use whatever dry media you'd like to use to add color to this, or you can use value if you prefer. So dry media means that paint is off the table for this project. But you can use crayons, colored pencils, markers. Oil pastels are also not well suited for this assignment, so those are not on the table either. I'm going to use a marker for the sake of this demonstration. Something that people find as a helpful strategy is to plot out the areas they're going to color in one section at a time. So if I'm trying to make a checkerboard pattern, that means that if I start in any shape, let's say if I color this shape orange, or I know I'm going to, I can outline it in orange. I can put that little X inside of it, I can do whatever it is I need to do to remember that it's orange. For the sake of the demo, I'm just going to go ahead and color it in orange. To make the checkerboard pattern, any shape that shares a corner will also be orange. So it doesn't share a side, it shares a corner. So I know that these share a corner. I can mark those off and fill those in. So what you can do is you can fill in a fairly large area or mark off a fairly large area to indicate, yep, these are going to be filled in with a color. So corner, corner, corner. They all share corners. And then you go through and you start coloring it in. You can use more than one color, so you could say I'm going to use orange and black, or I'm going to use orange and purple. Whatever it is you want to do, just make sure that you have a good amount of contrast, okay? So using like blue and purple, not really a great choice because blue and purple don't have a lot of contrast. They do appear to be a similar value, okay? Okay, so I'm going to time lapse the rest of this so you don't need to watch me make this in real time. Make sure to practice good craftsmanship, take your time, be neat, be thorough, don't accidentally smudge the marker if you're using marker. You can make the background checkerboard a different set of colors if you would like to, or you can make them the same set of colors. Make sure you have contrast throughout. Make sure you're showing good craftsmanship and really taking your time with this assignment.